So we are giving away a couple of highball glasses. Elijah Craig, leather wrapped. All right. With Elijah Craig on there, leather wrapped Elijah Craig highball glasses, and 2 Glencairn glasses from my Whiskey 61 line, and an Elijah Craig golf towel. And I just found some, matches for cigars and stuff like that back there. So that's a cool Masters Friday swag bag. How do you enter on the Dancing Rabbit golf text line? 601-885-3776. So 3 questions that we need you to answer on the text line. That's how you enter and you could win. Number 1, are you listening on 105.9 The Zone or streaming the show? Number 2, where are you listening from? And then number 3, if you had 1 round of golf to play, who would you play with, living or dead? Somebody said Abe Lincoln. I'm good with that. Whatever. Bobby Jones, we've got one of those. I was just on Bobby Jones Parkway or whatever Tuesday when we were there at Augusta National. What now?
So we got a Neil Armstrong vote to question him about
that. Would be cool.
Yeah, ask him about.
Did you really go to the moon? If yes, tell me about it.
He'll punch you.
Huh?
Well, if it was Buzz, he would punch you.
Oh,
Buzz Aldridge.
Buzz Lightyear?
Buzz Aldridge.
Oh.
He don't like that.
I was about to say, I've been on the Buzz Lightyear ride in Disney a million times. It's one of my favorite rides.
One of the best rides.
Yeah. It's even now, like when your kids are little, it's fun. It's even fun now.
Did you like Toy Story? Like, was it like, I know.
Did I watch it?
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, but the Toy Story ride, which is in a separate park.
Right.
It was for about everything cyclical there, right?
Yeah.
And it just depends on like what age group you're catching.
What's
so
hot?
The Toy Story was the hottest ride,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to throw this 2010.
Sure.
And was for a chunk of time.
Yeah.
It's a great ride at Hollywood. But now right behind it, they did the whole Star Wars stuff, and that has
taken over.
Yeah. Among other things.
Yeah. The Harry Potter world.
But the Buzz Lightyear ride's great. Toy Story ride's great. And all the Star Wars rides are great. Especially when you can get on property early before anybody's there.
How much do you think Toy Story grossed?
I cannot.
I have no idea.
I can't imagine.
I'm going to find it.
I really can't. We want you to get in touch with us on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line, 601-885-3776. Find us on X at Bowbounds. And the Key City, Mississippi Queen caller line is 601-707-3750. What is this? Michael Jordan would be elite. Hell yeah, it would. I mean, Jordan telling Chicago Bulls 92 Olympics. He loves cigars. He loves golf. I can't imagine how many times he's played Augusta. He's always at the Ryder Cup. Unfortunately, we don't really perform there. But yeah, Jordan telling stories would be amazing.
Do you think he's not a member at Augusta.
I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of.
So do you think if he just shows up, he can play?
No. You show up. No,
no.
you have to be invited by a member. It doesn't matter who you are.
You don't think
Period. End of discussion. It doesn't matter.
I just can't believe it.
You can be Trump, Putin, Brady,
no way.
Jordan. And I'm saying this if you're not a member, you have to be invited by a member.
So who turns him away? The kid at the front desk?
Yeah, I mean, if
way.
I mean, if it's an off time of year and you drive in and you're Michael Jordan, you just go to the gate. They're not letting you in.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I gotta like, who's tasked with turning Michael Jordan away?
I mean,
whoever's at the gate.
Whatever.
That's an hourly worker.
2 or 3 security guards are there.
They're not turning him away.
100% they are, because they don't want to lose their job.
That's a good point. I can't like play that out in my head and see it happening.
Well,
no way.
I mean, if Obama wants to play, he's got to If he's not a member, he's got to be invited by a member.
So, Kari, could you be out there and like someone see you from like hole one and be like, "Oh, hold on now"? Come
No,
on,
that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
You can't see. It's not like golf courses you've driven around.
Right.
You can't see in there. They've got it to the. It looks like a. It looks like a. It looks like they're housing Trump, or whoever's president at the time. You can't. You can't see one. Dang. You can't see one blade of grass on the course from any of the roads.
Oh, that's tight.
It's all, blocked off.
That's cool.
Barriers.
Yeah.
They don't really like concrete walls or anything. It's all green bushes and greener. But and look, I told you about the underground tunnels. I mean, you got players arriving right now as we're on the air, going through the underground tunnel to be elevated up.
That's crazy.
To take an elevator up to the driving range.
Wonder how long those tunnels have been there.
I don't know when they started that whole process. That's a good question. And I know they've added to it over the years. And one of the players was talking this week about it, and he was like, they've taken it all off. I mean, they don't want us in traffic. They don't. Wilkes and I were in traffic on Tuesday. Not bad. I mean, it's really not. It's like 5-minute traffic, even though Augusta's not a big, laid out right area. I mean, they didn't know in 1930 or whatever the hell this all happened that this was going to play out today. That's why Augusta is buying everything around the golf. They own it. It's free parking. So the reason why they bought all this massive amount parcels of land is they don't want the patron to have to pay for parking. They already know where this thing is going. Right. If you don't have tickets are cheap, they're $175. But once they get on the third party market, they're outrageous.
Right.
You don't pay for the reason why they have bought up an enormous amount of land and parcels. There's one lady that's held out. She's got a house on Augusta. They offered her $2 million. I mean, it's like a house that would go for $150, which is fine. It's like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. Other than that, everybody else has sold to them except CVS, is what we were told at T-Bones and from the Uber drivers.
CVS hold?
They're holding right now.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll hold long.
Why would they?
Yeah. But they've got so much parking. Like, you park and you're there. Yeah.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah, you're not paying $100 like you would think, $200 a day to do all that.
Used to be a wartime cattle farm.
Okay.
In the 40s.
Bob, you talking about Vision?
Yeah.
Bobby Jones.
Good Lord.
Alden Thornhill, the Starkville Derby dude, coming up next.
Anybody else got any questions about any college jobs? It's not a booster with a big enough blank check.
Good morning. Happy Masters Friday on the Out of Bounds show, mixed in with some SEC baseball. This segment is brought to you by Two Brothers, an older brother bistro, sister restaurants right beside each other in the historic Cotton District. Starkville, Mississippi. They'll host Tennessee this weekend, and they need to bounce back from a tough weekend in getting swept by Georgia. So they want to take at least 2 or 3 from the Tennessee Vols. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. We want to welcome in Alden Thornhill. He is the mastermind behind the Starkville Derby, Dachshund Mania. Holy smokes. Alden, good morning. How you doing, baby?
Oh, doing good. Appreciate you having me on. You know, this is one of my favorite traditions is, coming on your show and, all of our great media in this state that have really helped us grow this thing. And Out of Bounds has been a big part of that. So, appreciate you, helping us grow this thing. We first started, we had 110 dogs. Now we have 315. And, now we have 200 food and art vendors, and we're the second biggest arts festival in the state behind the Anderson Festival on the coast. So, this thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you played a big part in that, and so if your listeners and state fans and even Ole Miss, LSU, Alabama fans, we take everybody at the Starkville Derby.
Well, it's an incredible event that you and your team have created and put together. How many people were there last year, Alden?
80,000. That's estimates. 80,000. It is crazy the amount of people that come to this thing and see it online too. We average about 6.5 million impressions on social media. That's organic. In the kind of like from the event, all like promoting it to the event, so a little bit after. And we have people that all the time will come up and be like, "Hey, I'm coming in from Rhode Island. Like, where do I need to stay?" Or we got a racer who's coming all the way from Seattle, Washington, and it's just they see it on social media, and they're like, "Oh wow, that looks amazing. This Starkville place looks great." And they come down, and like I said, actually at the Mississippi Tourism Association event the other day, I've had somebody say, I've never been to Mississippi, I've never been to the South, but my preconceived notions just completely are wiped away because of a wiener dog race, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No doubt. Alden Thornhill, the mastermind behind the Starkville Derby. Wiener dogs, but it's tourism, it's economic development, it's 80,000 people, it's all kinds of good stuff for the state of Mississippi. And I met people from Canada, the West Coast, the East Coast, and everywhere else the last few years. And he's turned it into just a big party and celebration. When did you come up with this idea, Alden? How did this happen?
So I heard that this segment's brought to you by our friends at Two Brothers, and ironically enough, I was there sitting on the balcony with some buddies, and shout out to Bart and Josh and Terry and everybody. We'd had a spring festival that got moved to fall, and we were actually lacking a spring festival, and I just moved back up from New Orleans. And I'm used to, living down there, you got something every weekend in the spring. And I said, hey, we got to have something. And so, I kind of visioned it. I said, it'd be hilarious to shut down the street and race wiener dogs. And you'd have this carnival-like atmosphere, the balconies and the patios full. We were in a very paltry baseball season. Shout out to Coach O'Connor, though, for helping us out. And at that time, the bars and restaurants weren't getting as much money as they could be with a successful baseball team. So there's got to be a way to kind of, bring an additional hook in, along with baseball. And so, I told my wife, I said, look, I want to do this wiener dog race. I think we should shut down the street. I think it'd go crazy. I think it would work. And, she was like, please, no, but, it's our anniversary today. So thankfully, she stuck with me through all this. I changed her mind on it, and we've created this this great thing that helps out shelter pets with Active County Humane Society. We have waiters and waitresses and bartenders tell us this is their best day in the spring. Tips and sales wise, and then of course we're bringing eyeballs to the Cotton District, a really unique area. People who have no affiliation with Mississippi State, anything like that just are like, wow, I have to go to this Starkville place and really see what the Starkville Derby is all about.
This is awesome. Alden Thornhill on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. We're talking Starkville Derby Super Bulldog Weekend, and he has grown. What year is this, Alden? Is it fourth?
Year 4. It is year 4.
Dang. Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. All right, so 315. What the first year? How many dogs did you have?
I want to say we had 110, maybe.
Okay.
115, something like that. Yeah.
Now 315 dogs, and how many vendors did you say earlier, Alden?
205 food and art vendors. We have a concert with Sam Grisman Project, great act. It's going to be on the track. Out of our 315 racers, Bo, we have 26 different states represented, and actually, if you add up all the dogs that are traveling to Starkville, it's 28,000 miles. So you can wrap around the whole planet one time, and then go from about Starkville to LA. So it's it's just a great thing that this has become, and we thank everybody who's helped us make it this way.
God, this is awesome, man. Starkville Derby in a few weeks, Super Bulldog Weekend, dogs hosting LSU, and it gets kicked off pretty early, like 9 a.m. or something, Alden? I'm out there earlier. I know you probably live out there.
Yeah, the festival grounds will open up at 9. We'll start racing at 11:30. Thankfully, the athletic department really worked and got us some our SEC Saturdays at night. And so we'll be able to start later in the day, which is good for the bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
So we'll start at 11. We'll start racing at 11:30. We're trying to get Sam and them on at about 10. And so that way we kind of have a soundtrack going before we start up all the hoopla, like our, our call to post with the bugler and our flyovers, national anthem, all that fun stuff. And give a chance for people to go and, check out the vendors, check out the, shop and kind of get a lay of the land, and then everything really ramps up with the racing. I mean, we've got a tailgate zone this year. We've got where people actually bought spots and are bringing in tailgate tents. We've got multiple watch party areas. Bo, the area we got we got 3 jumbotrons we call Weenie Vision that people can watch all the action, and of course we stream it on. We got 60 bars and restaurants across the country that are having watch parties on April 25th for this thing. So it's crazy, but it's awesome.
Dude, you're awesome. I love it. We'll do this again the week of. Alden Thornhill, the mastermind behind the Starkville Derby, 80,000 people. Follow them on social media, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. They're active. Come celebrate Super Bulldog Weekend with 315 wiener dogs. Thanks, Alden.
Appreciate you, Bo. Y'all have a good week. Health safe.
See you, buddy. Mississippi State hosting Tennessee this weekend. Brought to you by two brothers in the historic Cotton District and their new restaurant, which is on fire. Older Brother Bistro. Best Reuben I've ever had. And Barton does some specials that at night that are insane. Of course, he's rock star, award-winning pitmaster. We'll be back in a second. Steve Palazzolo, NFL Draft.
Anybody else got any questions about any college job? There's not a booster with a big enough blank check.
I love the NFL. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Stella Artois and Wings. Now that is a winning combination. Tonight or late this afternoon when you're watching the Masters and getting ready for some SEC baseball. Oh, man. Masters Friday, SEC baseball, Stella Artois and Wings for the win. We welcome in our friend Steve Palazzolo, NFL Podcast of the Year. Steve P. joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. All right, Steve P., I'd like for you to give me a grade for the Dallas Cowboys this year in free agency.
Incomplete? Is it incomplete? Is that how we, for the last 3 years? I think that's how we'll do it.
Oh, what a disaster. So, I mean, I'd give them a D. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, from a fan perspective, I know you're looking to make some splash moves and everything. They were okay. They're going into the draft with some needs, which isn't great. Brought back Javonte Williams. What else did they do?
Right.
You never want to go into the draft with specific needs. That's my biggest hang up, especially with Dallas. That's why every Dallas mock draft is like, all right, who's the top corner on the board? And maybe they'll take a linebacker at 20, or maybe they'll take a defensive lineman. They did get Rashawn Gary, I think, as a buy low trade. I think is a good move. So that's not bad. But yeah, you never want to go into the draft saying, oh man, we really need a starting corner. We really need a starting linebacker, and we're going to have to make that pick and not let the board fall to us. So that's my biggest complaint for any team, really.
And they don't have an edge rusher.
I mean, it's not a bad defensive line. It's always going to be compared to what Micah Parsons brought to the table. I thought Donovan Ezeraku as a second rounder last year did a nice job. I thought Rashawn Gary, again, he's 2 years removed maybe from his best play, maybe 3 years removed, but they got him somewhat cheap. And it's a good buy low opportunity there. They did bring in Quinnen Williams at defensive tackle, and you lose Osa and Biggie Zua, but they got a third rounder back. So it's not an awful defensive line, but yeah, they definitely still need some help there.
Okay. Steve Palazzolo, NFL Podcast of the Year on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Would you use the 2 first-round picks, or would you move out of them and get more picks?
I'm usually a get more picks type of person. It's not always that simple, especially in this draft. I know there were some rumors that teams are going to be trying to trade a lot in this draft. I don't see it because there's just not a ton of elite players to trade for. I know there was even rumors about Dallas trading up, from 12, trying to get up to 3 or 4, whatever it may be. And I don't know if that's the right move. I mean, I could see Jerry doing it, saying, hey, we're going to go get Arvell Reese. He's our next Micah Parsons. There's our next hybrid linebacker pass rusher. But I don't know if that's the right move there, to go all in on one player. If you could take those 2 ones, and if you can move back, if you could find a trade partner, draft in volume, then all of a sudden maybe you can find a starting corner, a starting linebacker, a pass rusher, maybe a third receiver. Then you start to fill the roster out in some spots that you really need.
How do you look at it? Would you go get a linebacker in the first 6 to 8 picks, or are you just premium positions like quarterback, edge rusher, left tackle, and so on? What direction would you go as a GM, Steve?
Mostly premium positions. I advise NFL teams, and we're literally having those discussions right now. Hey, should we consider Jeremiah Love? Should we consider Caleb Downs? And I try to bring both sides of the equation, right? I've said on the show before, like if you draft Jeremiah Love, a running back high, say 5 to the Giants, all of a sudden he's the 8th highest paid running back. But if you drafted Reuben Bain, he's the 34th paid edge rusher. So that part matters, right? It frees up salary cap space to go elsewhere. So that's a factor. And then you've got the scarcity factor. Like, where do you find your best pass rushers and pass protectors and receivers? It's often in the first round. It's harder to find those guys later, especially pass rushers and pass blockers. So I think a lot of it is this is where you find those players. And then the other part of it is there's great value there when you hit, just like we always hear about first contract QBs. It is similar at other positions, not as drastic, but at other positions, when you have a first contract, say offensive tackle, pass rusher, receiver, it is a lot cheaper than going out in the open market for those guys. So therefore it is an advantage. So I'd rather get the premium positions, but it would take a guy, a special prospect like a Jeremiah Love, like a Caleb Downs, like a Micah Parsons at the time. If he was a linebacker when he was drafted, it would have to take a special prospect, I think, for me to come off that.
Okay, you're talking about Jeremiah Love for our listeners, running back out of Notre Dame. Steve's talked about him. Mike Detilier's talked about him with the Saints. He doesn't think he'll be there, but let's say that you get into the 6th, 7th pick of the draft, Steve, and Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame, still there. And you need a running back. What does Steve P do? Is he special enough to go ahead and go, hey, it's not an edge rusher, it's not a left tackle, and it's not a QB, but this guy can make a difference, and we get him on a rookie contract? What direction would you go?
He is special enough to be considered there, right? So I would say when you're looking at the top running backs that have gone in the top 12, I'll extend it to 12 because of Jahmyr Gibbs a couple of years ago. Yeah. I think Love is in that bucket of Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. The worst top 10 pick over the last few years at running back, I think, has been Leonard Fournette, who just, had some okay seasons, but was never really a dynamic difference maker. And I think Genty with the Raiders will be good once they get, better run blocking. But again, that's part of the risk of doing this, is that the running back is so dependent on his offensive line. And if you don't have your offensive line intact, then you can't just, Jeremiah Love can't overcome that. Ashton Genty can't overcome that. So I think if you're a team like Washington at 7, where they already have a decent offensive line, they've got some players there, they have Jaden Daniels in the backfield, and he's got a good run threat, and you put him in, Love in the backfield. I think that might make sense for them. And again, the lower you go down the first round, there's a fixed salary, fixed cap hit on these players. The lower you go, the easier it is, I would say, to go running back. So once you get into 7, 8, 9, 10, I think it's a lot easier to say, give me Jeremiah Love instead of, say, the 2nd, 3rd pass rusher, 2nd or 3rd receiver, 2nd or 3rd tackle in the draft.
Do you think there's any way he's still on the board at 8?
Yeah, I think there is. It's interesting because I don't know. It's tough to predict what the NFL is going to do. The heaviest rumors are the Titans at 4, the Giants at 5. The Titans already have 2 running backs and they have other needs. The Giants have 2 running backs on first contracts, like Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo, and they have other needs. They need a starting right guard. They need a receiver. They need a second receiver. They need a corner. So the teams that are rumored to get Love, and then after that, the Browns aren't going to do it. They just drafted 2 running backs last year. And then the Commanders went to free agency for a running back. The Saints went to free agency for a running back, and the Chiefs went to free agency for a running back. Now, the Commanders are probably the most likely team because they have, I think, as little invested at running back as anyone else. So I think the Commanders are most likely at 7. I don't think he probably doesn't get past 7 is what I'll say. But I wouldn't put it past it, right? I don't know how many teams are having this conversation saying, hey, we got to get our premium positions and we don't want to be the team taking the running back. And all of a sudden, Jeremiah Love starts falling in the draft.
Steve Palazzolo, NFL Draft Insider on the show, brought to you by Stella Artois and Wings. That's a winning combination for the weekend. Well, so you mentioned the Giants possibly, but, Scatterbo and the other dude you referenced, to me, I would think a John Harbaugh goes with a premium position at that spot, like line of scrimmage, like you referenced. You think that he would strongly consider Jeremiah Love?
I think they'd consider him, but they could really use a starting corner. I think they're rumored to want to have to be able to trade back and maybe get Mansour Delane or Jamad McCoy, 2 of the top corners in the draft. They need a starting right guard. I don't know if they want to take that guy that high, but if they were to trade down to 10 or so, and they could get Francis Maui-Noah, the offensive tackle from Miami, who could plug in at guard. I think that's the Giants' preferred path and Harbaugh's preferred path. So, yeah, I don't think he wants to draft a running back, but again, it's tough to really get into everybody's head specifically on what they're doing, and they're all having these same conversations in the draft room. Like, they're all saying, what about Jeremiah Love? Should we? Can we afford it? Can we afford to do this versus other positions where we either have needs or we know the other positions are going to fill a cornerback spot or to fill a right guard spot costs a lot more money than to fill a running back spot, as great as Jeremiah Love is. And those are the conversations that are happening in draft rooms, right up through this week as they're finalizing draft boards.
How much do you think an owner steps in and goes, I want the position that the fans get all worked up about,
Yes.
like a Jeremiah Love running back, not only a Jeremiah Love running back, but also from a big brand in Notre Dame? Do you think that not all the time, but do you think that happens at times, Steve?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's easy. It's fun to play this game from over here. And look, I truly believe if owners never interfered, a lot of the evaluators would do a better job. I really do. I mean, not everywhere. I mean, there's some owners that say, hey, I hired the football people to do football and let them go and do their thing, and we won't interfere. But it's a business like anywhere else. You have to get buy-in from the boss. The boss wants to have say, and we know that there's 32 ownership groups and they have 32 different levels of say. And in certain buildings, they're gonna make an impact. And if they're like, hey, we want jersey sales, can't sell jerseys for an offensive tackle, can't sell jerseys for a corner, we're getting Jeremiah Love. That's where we're going. I mean, it's a reality. It does happen in the NFL.
Well, the Seahawks just won the Super Bowl with no stars.
Oh, I mean,
let's be honest. They have no. I mean, first of all, they're an afterthought, even with all the winning they've done under Holmgren and Pete, and now Snyder doing this new thing with what they did. But they have. I mean, we're so used to Mahomes or Brady mixed in with Tyreek or Gronk or something like that. And what's fascinating to me is the overwhelming majority. You know all these players. But the overwhelming majority of the country doesn't know. They know a few. I mean, they know Sam Darnold. He has no star power. And they put together two phenomenal units and line of scrimmage and all that, Steve. But there's no big-time jersey-selling, Manhattan-driven TV commercial dudes out of there. Is that fair?
Yes, that's definitely fair. But I think, remember, there was a famous soundbite, Trent Dilfer, on air years ago, where he was like, the dirty little secret in the NFL is everyone's not trying to win, or something to that effect. I don't know if he conveyed it exactly how he wanted, but there's some reality there, right? Like, not every team is literally trying to pull every lever to try to win every game.
Right, like Dallas.
What you're saying is, right, we don't have every team saying, this is the path to winning, and, we don't care about ticket sales. We don't care about, fans, and those things too do come into consideration. Or maybe groups that are just like content. Like if you give me 9 to 10 wins a year, like Pittsburgh over the last few years, they had a tough time moving on from Mike Tomlin because they're a fringe playoff team every year. And it finally came to a head where they had to move on, but they were happy with that. I think they were happy with consistent mediocrity for a long time, or consistent just winning 1 or 2 more games than you lose every single year. Mm-hmm. You're happy with that. Not every team is trying to maximize the championship window necessarily. And so, yeah, there are other things to consider in some of these decisions.
Okay. Out of Les Snead, GM at the Rams, Snyder, GM at the Seahawks, Veach, GM at the Chiefs, Roseman, GM at the Eagles. You may want to throw in the Lions and I don't know what. Out of all those, if you're an owner of an NFL team and you have to make the pick here in 15 seconds, and you can have anybody, who's the general manager you're hiring?
Oh man, Howie Roseman 1, Les Snead 2. I might put John's made a great comeback over these last few years. Schneider, he's done a great job these last couple of years. But I look at what Howie Roseman's done with the Eagles. He's done a great job of maximizing procuring free agents and trades, so current NFL players, but also the draft. I think Howie's done the best combination of those two things.
Okay.
Les Snead and the Rams have been the best drafting team, and it's by a mile. Again, by my numbers, they've brought in the most value in the draft since 2017, and that's not even accounting for the fact that they've only had one first-round pick during that time.
That's remarkable.
So instead of taking a first-rounder, so the fact that they could take their first-rounders and bring in Jalen Ramsey and Matthew Stafford and bring in all these players who are really good and still draft as well as they have, finding Puka Nacua in the third round, defensive tackle Kobe Turner in the third round. Puka was in the fifth. Their one first rounder was Jared Verse, who's a stud. I mean, Kyron Williams, late rounder at running back. All of the value that they've brought in on day 3 in round 2, I think Les Snead and the Rams have been the best, most consistent drafting team. And that often goes in cycles. It doesn't mean you'll be the best drafting team for the next 5 years, but they've been consistently good there and doing it without a first-round pick. So I think those are the top two guys, Howie Roseman and Les Snead right now.
Golly. Those guys are phenomenal. And like you said, the bounce back with John Snyder, and he must be so politically savvy to, I guess, somewhat outmaneuver Pete Carroll. To be able to stay in power out there that long through a major coaching change is virtually impossible, right, Steve?
It is, and I think that's where John deserves so much credit, right? There was the stat out there that he's the only guy to win 2 championships with 2 completely different rosters, right? And that makes sense, right? There's no Seahawks, from 2013 still on the team in 2025. But that's the other part of being the GM. You're not just picking players. You're managing the whole building. You're hiring coaches. And for him to go from Pete Carroll, who they had such great chemistry for so many years, doesn't mean they were always great. They had some down years, such great chemistry through the years. But then for John to go through the hiring process, find Mike Macdonald, not that he found him out of nowhere, but to say, hey, this is our guy, Mike Macdonald. And then they get on the same page, build the team to what Macdonald needs to win. And then go last year and make the aggressive move to go get Sam Darnold and let Geno Smith go. I mean, everything John Schneider's touched over these last couple of years has turned to gold, and it's been fantastic. So I'm really impressed with what he's been able to do after Pete Carroll to hire a new coach, get in lockstep with him, and within 2 years win a title again.
Golly. Seattle won the Super Bowl. Les Snead out there with the Rams, and just unbelievable what these guys. And what was your – you've dropped it now 2 weeks in a row. How many first-round picks have they had over the last, 6 or 7 years? One?
They've had one first-round pick since 2016, actually, which was Jared Goff. And so I looked at my numbers since 2017. They're the best. They've brought in the most, I call it production value. So you quantify production, you tie it to wins. Okay. They've brought in the most value, basically like the most WAR in the draft. Wins above average, wins above replacement since 2017, and they've done it with just one first-round pick.
What? That's never been done in the NFL, I don't think.
And they took all those first-round picks that they took, they got good, capable players.
Right.
So if you did add that to the equation, it's even more draft. I'm not even adding that to the equation yet.
Oh, my gosh. Steve Palazzolo, NFL Podcast of the Year. We got a few minutes here. I want to go to SEC college football. What would you say to our listeners who root for all these different teams on college football programs that have yet to start building a real deal scouting department now with the portal and NIL this day and age, Steve?
Oh, I was just talking to an SEC team yesterday pitching what I have. Like I have a portal model that will double and triple your hit rates. You can't just rely on a whole bunch of people just, trying to watch film and thinking where the best players are coming from. I got an entire model that will 3x your hit rates and give you an actual rubric to build your team. The rubric that said that Indiana was the top team in the nation last year going into the season, and that Miami was the number 2 team in the nation going into the season.
Nice.
And that Texas Tech was top 4. So, I've got the tools, man. That's what every team should be using. So it is so tough to filter through 10,000 players. So you have to have a scouting department, an analytics department, and have those working together to identify players early and then bring the right people, recruit the right people. I know it's not you can't draft, but you have to recruit the right people. You got to pull from the right pool of players, and there are edges to be had because there's a lot of data and information out there, but you could be overwhelmed by it. So I think every team needs a full-on scouting and analytics department to be able to maximize the portal windows.
Wow. What Signetti and Cristobal and Texas Tech did, and Kiffin and Ole Miss. Where'd you have? I'm sure you had Kiffin and Ole Miss in the top.
They were top 5.
Unreal.
Yeah. And they were top 5, and look, my numbers aren't saying, well, they'll definitely be better than Ohio State. It wasn't about who the exact best teams are. It's just if you recruit, if you bring in the right players, and you get above a certain threshold, at least in my system, you're giving yourself a great chance, a much higher percentage chance of winning 10 games, going to the playoff, and then making that run. And that's what Indiana, Miami, Ole Miss, they all did that last year. They were above my designed threshold, and they all made those runs. And when the rest of the nation was surprised by it, I wasn't. I was saying, boom, there it is. Looks exactly like I predicted back in August.
Wow. So Steve Palazzolo, who's on the show, had Signetti in Indiana, Cristobal in Miami, Texas Tech, and McGuire, I think, and Kiffin and Ole Miss all as top 5 as far as what they had been able to do going into the 2025 season. And look what happened. They all had incredible years. My goodness. Do you think it'll be like the NFL? Well, we'll pick this up. What now? Oh, all right. Do you play golf at 6'10"?
A couple times a year. Too many kids to play more than that. But
well, yeah. Let me go back. When you were like junior high school, before you had all the kids, did you play a little golf here and there?
Yeah,
College?
I lived right next to a private golf course, so my friends and I would go play almost every day because we worked at the pro shop. I was never good, but we play a lot.
That is incredible. Okay, if you could play a round of golf with one person, who would it be?
Oh, I was supposed to say Tiger Woods. Mickelson. Give me Mickelson.
I like it. That's who I picked two and a half hours ago. Yep.
Loved Phil back in the day.
Me too. And I want to hear about his sports gambling stories and the $400 million and all. Yeah. Hey, dude, go Cincinnati Reds, and we appreciate it. I hope you have a great weekend. See you, buddy.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Steve Palazzolo, NFL Podcast of the Year. That was unbelievable. I love nerding out. I'm fascinated by people who are unbelievable at evaluating talent and building world-class scouting departments. Now at the college level, like Miami, Ole Miss, and Indiana and Texas Tech, and in the NFL. Hour number 3 coming up on the Out of Bounds Show.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
Is now awarded.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Show me the money!
Okay.
Show me the money!
That's what Steve Palazzolo says. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Show me the money!
Steve Robertson will join us at 9:30 on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Show is driven by your next GMC Sierra truck. GMC Yukon. You can go with the Denali package. Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. Fowler, Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. Bowbound Straight Funk with you. Having fun on a Masters Friday. Got a big Elijah Craig giveaway. A couple of highball glasses, leather wrapped. Look great. Throwing in a couple of Whiskey 61 Glencairn glasses. And then we've got an Elijah Craig golf towel. That's our Masters Friday giveaway, right?
We'll put it on the set soon.
Yeah.
And we'll hang that towel up there, show you how pretty it is. The towel's awesome.
It's nice.
It's really cool.
It's nice. Wilkes already stole one.
It's got like the grooved thing on the end of it so you can brush all your clubs off real nice with it. And obviously the towel material is really dope. It's sweet.
Nice.
And a regular towel.
So how do you enter on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line? 601-885-3776. Here's how you enter and you could win. We want to know three things, three questions. Are you listening on 105.9 The Zone or streaming the show? That's question one. Question two, where are you listening from? And question three, if you could play one round of golf at Augusta National, who would you play with, living or dead? Some great feedback here on the text line. Michael Jordan, this is Mac from Inlet Beach, and he would play golf with MJ. Especially, he said it'd be really cool if you didn't have to pay your gambling losses. Yeah. How much do you think Jordan's gambled on Augusta National?
Gambled, period?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's in the M's. Gotta be the M's.
You think?
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
Okay.
I mean, how much does a guy like that gamble a hole?
25,000 or more?
More, right?
I mean, he's been $100,000 a hole guy,
Well,
and I'm sure
that's a 1.8.
And I know there's been holes where I'm
doubled up.
Yeah, where he's bet $1 million.
So I mean,
can you imagine having $1 million on one hole in golf? Wherever you're playing, not just but the other courses that he plays all over the country.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I'd be yelling at that. I mean, at that point, everything's on the table, right? So I could yell during the guy's backswing and all that, right? We're playing for $1 million. I'm yelling during your backswing.
Okay, you're gonna.
Oh
no. So throw. Your theory is for $1 million, you throw all the golf etiquette rules out.
Etiquette.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the $1 million.
Gotcha.
Not worried about etiquette.
Okay.
Somebody else can spell that for me.
Right.
I don't need that.
No. You're from Clinton.
Yeah. The heck with that.
Right.
Money's on the table, baby.
Straight wings from Applebee's. Right?
Gas.
Wow.
That's still loud.
Oh, okay. That was crazy. All right.
That was loud. But yes, Applebee's does have good wings.
And they've got ice cold beer.
That is one thing.
I have smashed several cheeseburgers and cold beer there.
Is it a rite of passage?
Well, it was when I lived in Enterprise, Alabama. Not technically, but I was down there for months, nights and nights at a time when I was in the hotel and condominium business, which is basically the end of the earth. I'm just kidding. It's wonderful people down there.
Yeah,
but I spent a lot of time in Enterprise in Dothan, Alabama. And the only thing in Enterprise 26 years ago was an Applebee's.
Straight up.
And that's where we went there wasn't anything else to do.
I bet
I can't sit in a hotel room.
No.
I'm not wired like that.
No.
I've never been. I get it. A lot of people travel. They can sit. I can't do it.
Why?
Why
would you?
And I've been in too many now where when I tell you my goal is to get in the hotel room, drop the bag, and get out, I don't care if I walk the town or city, which I've done all over the country. I used to jog. That was way weird.
Yeah.
Or just whatever you're doing, going and finding a fun little watering hole. Because bartenders are the life of communities a lot of times, and they give you the insight of where you want to go.
Yeah.
Whether it's a landmark or something cool to see or whatever. But anyway, back to Enterprise, Alabama. We went to the Applebee's 47 times.
I bet that Applebee's printed bread.
Now, I think when I stayed in Dothan, that was like big living. I want to say, I could be wrong, want to say Dothan may have had an Outback. But I can't remember, my man.
Isn't that down there by
yes.
by
It's
our
down
buddies?
there by I-10, and,
Jake Coker
you take a
was
left instead of going straight to Tallahassee. You're driving down for a long... Now, you can also cut through. Now, back then, it was a terrible cut through. Now, it's a lot better cutting through Alabama and avoiding, I-10 and Mobile and all that. But back in 26 years ago, and there's many people listening that get this, when you were a traveling salesman, you didn't have all the cool stuff it's not hard to travel now. I mean, you've got streaming, you can do things and listen to amazing things for your brain and your mind to kill the 3 or 4 or 6 hours that you're going to see a client or checking in on one of your locations. It's just a total game changer. Total game changer. Back then you had the radio, and when you would get on a sports talk radio station that you liked, but then you would drive out of it and then there wouldn't be one. And it was just like,
Man,
that type deal.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, look, I wasn't in a horse and buggy like they were 100 years before what I'm describing. So you get it. I'm just saying now for those of us that travel, and I don't travel like that, but there are people listening in surgical sales or transportation or whatever, and they still travel 3 and 4 days a week, but now they can pull up whatever they want.
You can be productive on the road safely.
Absolutely. You can be listening to a book, which is amazing, and a podcast or something on YouTube. You don't have to watch it. You can just be listening to it. It's great.
You can literally
totally change the game for somebody who needs to go to X, Y, and Z 4.5 hours away from wherever they are.
No doubt.
I mean, you can talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally do work. You can write a book.
It wasn't like that. Hell, when people used to travel, I can remember traveling with my dad when I would go with him on a business trip in the early 80s. You'd pull over on the side road. He'd get on a payphone.
No way. So, dude,
call back to the office.
That's crazy.
Or call where we were going, a client.
Was he a beeper guy?
No.
Wasn't a beeper guy.
But that was hard and heavy by 88, 89, dude. 90. Because when I umpired baseball at the Northeast Jackson baseball field starting when I was 14 years old, because I could ride my four-wheeler back behind from Bellhaven back behind Riverside to get there. And then when I got my license, I could just drive over. It was damn near 90% of the coaches had beepers on.
That's awesome.
I know. It was incredible.
That's so tight.
I know. We should do a show on beepers.
Straight beepers.
Straight beepers.
That's dope, man. I like that. It's kind of like the Blackberries in the little holster, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, what's the difference there?
Blackberries in the holster. Man, Blackberry was a great phone.
I love it. I wish it was
that was a great phone.
Great run, great era.
Yeah. Hey, we're powered by Rick's Pro Truck. Spray and Bedliners lift kits. RPT trucks live here. All right, good morning. Welcome in. Masters Friday on the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Stella Artois and Wings. That's a winning combination. This is 105.9 The Zone, ESPN.
Show me the money!
I mean, that's a joke to me.
We want to welcome in our golf correspondent, Wilkes Bounds, to ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Wilkes, what's up, bud?
Nothing much.
Were you locked in? Yes. Well, you played golf yesterday, but as far as the leaderboard, you got Sam Burns, McIlroy, Day, Reed, Scheffler. Who's your guy out of that group?
Sam Burns.
You were talking about him Tuesday when you and I were at Augusta National. You've liked him for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, his putting is just unreal.
Okay, I like it. Would you be upset if McIlroy goes back to back?
I think I would. I don't think he's interested. So I think it's funny that he's leading after day one.
All right, a little bit of a hot take, and I like that. You like Jason Day, right? You told me on Tuesday.
Jason Day.
Okay. Did you tell me he's won? I can't remember.
Major winner.
Yeah, I think he's won a PGA championship.
Yeah, he has a major.
Okay. All right. So Jason Day has a major. He had a big day yesterday.
Oh, he's tied for second in all of them and won the PGA.
Okay.
That's tough.
Oh, he's tied for second
tied
in all
for-
the other majors?
In 11, he tied for second in
Damn.
the Open and in Masters.
Yeah, that's kind of like Rosie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Rose has a bunch of second places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rosie's been Justin
I hate
Rose
that
for our
one.
listeners,
Yeah.
who's great, man.
He's so good.
Well, he's easy to root for.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And Wilkes and I, when we were there Tuesday, it was Rosie and Fleetwood and Lowry, Wilkes?
Yeah, and Tyrell Hatton.
And Hatton. Okay. That was the fourth dude. I wasn't sure who that was. All right, Patrick Reed. You a fan or no?
I'm not a fan, but I wouldn't mind if he won it. I kind of would like that.
Nice.
Just because he's a villain?
Yeah, he's a villain. You know, he cheated back in the apparently.
Whoa.
He PGA think he cheated.
Legend.
Oh, and he's got that lib thing going, so a lot of people like to go against. Now
He's coming back.
Well, he is. That's right. He's in the process because he's been on the DP tour. That's it. Yeah, Wilkes told me
he's
that
in
on
between.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Wilkes.
I was just saying he's in between right now. Yeah, he's on the DP World Tour.
Okay, and he's won a couple of times
Oh,
here
yeah.
lately.
Oh yeah.
All right, now DeChambeau, is that your favorite live guy?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, he had the triple bogey yesterday. I don't know if I see him recovering from that.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, it was brutal for him.
Okay. Were you and Chance and your buddies recapping the round one once you got home yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, before I left, I sat here and watched Amen Corner for 2 hours. So I was dialed.
All right, Wilkes Bounds on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Wilkes and I went to the Tuesday practice round this year. How would you describe it?
It was just the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Been to, I don't even know. You can't describe it.
Agree.
I was going to ask him, obviously you've been able to do a bunch of cool things, but where does it rank? Is it number
it's
one?
one.
Is it one?
Yeah.
What would be second? Is it the waste management?
I would say our Final Four
Yeah.
watching Coach K's last game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That was a good Final Four y'all got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
He got to see Duke, North
names.
Carolina in the Final Four in the semifinals.
Hard to beat that.
And Krzyzewski's and it was a great game too.
Yeah, it was.
It was a one possession game.
Right.
So it was crazy.
That's tough.
You're listening to Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. So you're riding with Sam Burns, but you like Jason Day. And you and I talked about Xander Schauffele. You like him too, right?
Oh, I love Xander Schauffele.
Now, what did he win the? Did he win 2 in one year, the U.S. Open and another one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Shuffle.
The shuffle. We saw him on Tuesday too. Let me see here. He is.
His name is spelled so eloquently.
Top 12.
He's 2 under, tied at 7.
All right, so he's in a running.
Yeah.
He's down there from Jupiter, Florida. Oh, he's a San Diego kid.
Are you going to be upset if Lowry wins it? He's 2 under.
Wow, you pulled that.
Yeah.
Dang,
What?
you pulled that.
What'd I pull?
Yeah, Schauffele did win 2 in 1 year. Well done.
Which ones?
Okay.
PGA and the Open.
Okay, the PG and the
Nice.
Open Championship?
Yeah, in 24.
Okay.
Nice.
Dang.
I can't believe you got that.
Like he was a walk-on at San Diego.
Really?
And then I'm pretty sure
Hold on.
he was a walk-on the golf team at San Diego.
What?
And now he's a 2-time major winner. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, where'd you play golf yesterday? Starkville Country Club or somewhere else?
Starkville Country Club.
All right. Did you play with a buddy or did y'all have more than that?
Yeah, I played with McKinley.
Okay. Who played better, you or McKinley?
I played better on the front. He played better on the back.
Okay. All right. Cool. Are you playing today?
No, we have a water slide party.
Nice.
Of course.
That is lit.
It's good to be in college.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
That's tight.
All right, bud. Well, anything else that you like? Any thoughts on today's round or this weekend or anything?
Don't sleep on Justin Rose.
Okay. Oh, if you could play one round of golf with anybody at Augusta National, who would you pick?
Justin Thomas.
Nice.
Quick.
JT, baby.
Solidified.
I don't even know how he played yesterday, Wilkes.
Yeah, he shot even. He's good.
Oh, okay, so he's in the hunt.
Yeah.
Nice. Good. I'm glad he hung around. I'd love for him to at least be, in the top 10 on Sunday at 2:00. That'd be fun.
Him and Spieth both did fine. Spieth is 1 under.
Good. I'm glad to see Jordan play well. I did not realize that. That's awesome. All right. So if he had one round of golf to play, he'd play with JT, Justin Thomas. Love it. All right, bud. Have a good weekend, okay?
All right.
Wilkes Bounds golf correspondent who's got a water slide party today, so he can't play golf. But he did play golf yesterday. What do you think about that?
He hung up the phone so fast.
He's like, I'm out.
Yes,
Dad."
I'm good, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's funny. I like that.
Yeah. But he didn't even hesitate on who he would play with.
Nah, that was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, JT's a good pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know his golf stuff already came in from the Masters yesterday?
Shut up.
I'm not kidding.
There's no way. No.
I'm not kidding.
Nah, I don't believe that.
I walked in yesterday.
No.
There's a box right when I walk in the door.
That was Thursday.
On the table.
yesterday.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm thinking it's for Wendy or Ella Hall.
Gotta be.
Okay. And I look at it, I'm turning, I go, that says Wilkes. No way that's his golf stuff. And it was. So Wendy went and got it. She was all excited about it because she wasn't there.
Yeah, right.
And she pulled it all out.
That's awesome.
And was like, this is cool. Yeah.
What did the box look like that it came in?
It's just a normal.
Good. Thankfully they know.
Like if you got UPS.
That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Don't brand the box.
So we were there on Tuesday. He obviously gave it to them, whatever.
Yes.
It was there on Thursday.
That is incredible.
I know.
Wow.
Ritz-Carlton
That's more.
times a million.
Yeah, whatever's past it. That's crazy.
I know. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance. Steve Robertson coming up next. Brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino, Vegas-style sportsbook on the property of Pearl River Resort. It's all about the experience. Grab some buddies, get in a couple of those leather chairs. They got a full bar and food menu. Table games are about 20 feet away from you outside the sportsbook. On the property of Pearl River Resort.
Show me the money!
We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone. The show is brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance and Taste Italian Kitchen in Starkville, Mississippi, tasteitaliankitchen.com to make your reservation. We have Mississippi State, Tennessee this weekend in Starkville. We welcome in Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. And Steve joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Steve, Tomas is now the Friday night starter. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, and it makes the most sense to me. I mean, last weekend was the Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, so you move everybody up a day, and so you can keep Tomas and Duke Stone on the same throwing plan and then kind of move them up a day in the rotation because of the way the schedule falls. And so it makes good sense to me, and you move Foster to Sunday, and, those Sunday games sometimes are wild. But I think that's probably a better opportunity for State than him throwing on Friday night. And he gave you a good start against Ole Miss, not so much against Georgia. But, I like Valinkas going against Landon Mack tonight. And already posted a preview of what to expect from Mack. But, he had the best performance of his season last week against LSU. But he's not a guy that gets over 100 pitches. And, they're very mindful of pitch count. But, it's 1A versus 1A tonight in Starkville.
All right, so Tomas Valinkas has now moved to the Friday role, as Steve just laid out. You go from a short week to a long week. Makes sense for Oak and Parker. All right, so how many pitches did Tomas? He went pretty deep last week. How many pitches did he throw last week, Steve?
I got it right here. Hang on just a second. I can look it up for you. And that's the thing about him is, he never wants to come out of a game.
Right.
He's one of the kinds of guys that, he always feels like, one more pitch. But, they pulled him when they needed to. But, yeah, he went 95 pitches last week. And he's gone over 100 a couple times, but just barely over. Against Arkansas and Vanderbilt, he went over 100. But went 90 against Ole Miss, 95 against Georgia. So, the thing about, Friday nights, it's so important because it sets its tone for the whole weekend. And so if you can get length out of your Friday night starter, you can save your bullpen. That's why it's so important for State to get to Mack, in those middle innings, because the sooner you get into that Tennessee bullpen, the better off you're going to be. I mean, their ERA and SEC play is terrible. And so starting pitching's been good for Tennessee, but the bullpen, I spoke to Ellender yesterday, and he'll tell you that it's the weakest part of the team is the bullpen. They got a couple of guys they're pretty excited about, but by and large, they have struggled on the back end.
Steve's referencing Josh Ellender. He took Vitalo's place last fall when Vitalo went to the Giants. Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Starkville. State humbled last weekend as Georgia comes in and wins 3. What have you heard? I'm not saying he totally changed everything because it's still a good team with a ton of wins. And they have a couple of sweeps under their belt, even though they got swept last weekend. But do you think that there was, and the UAB win was a nice win considering UAB's top 40 or 50 RPI. Do you think there was a little bit different approach or intensity level this week, Steve, with Oak and the team?
Well, I thought they swung the bats really well on Tuesday, even though they didn't get a ton to show for it. I mean, they had, I think Oak said 10 batted balls over 100 miles per hour that ended up in outs. And that's the thing with Georgia. They had a lot of success with the slider and the cutter, and I suspect Tennessee will try to mimic that a little bit. UAB just didn't have the juice to get that done. And that's the thing. When you play the best coaches in college baseball week in and week out, they're going to find out what you're uncomfortable with, and they're going to feed that to you. And so it'll be interesting to see maybe how State's approach maybe mimics what they did on Tuesday against Landon Mack tonight. And we'll just see how things go. But the reality of all this is that nobody's going to throw bad in practice. They're going to make you hit pitches that you ordinarily wouldn't swing at. And this deep in the season, everybody's got good tape on everybody, so the scout changes.
Oh, that's a good point. What was the kid's name last weekend, Steve? Aoki?
Oh, yeah, Caden Aoki,
Good
closer. Yeah,
Lord.
He's really good.
Thursday
Yeah,
and
he's really
Saturday? How filthy was his breaking stuff, Steve?
Well, Wes Johnson's going to have that, right? I mean, that's kind of his pedigree, and I thought, to be honest with you, I thought Wes had a master class in pitch calling last week, and I think early on they saw that, we were going to be able to hit the fastball, but when you can throw the breaking ball for a strike, it just changes the complexity of the game. You got to think about the feedback you're giving the pitcher, right? And they'll throw a couple things early to see how you're going to respond. And when you're chasing that breaking stuff, that's all you're going to see. Because why would they ever just throw you a fastball when they know they can throw a breaker or a slider or a cutter up there and get you to swing and not even have to play defense? And I thought Wes Johnson did a really good job of keeping State off balance last week. I thought Vieg was really good. He got in some trouble early because he couldn't locate the slider. So what do you know? They go out there and they simplify things a little bit, and he walked Hill and Reese in back-to-back turns through the order, and State could only get a couple runs out of it. And so, sometimes you tip your cap, and I think that's what Mississippi State's got to do, and they'll get ready for Tennessee.
Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports, on the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance Inn in Starkville. Steve, how important is it for Stallman and Sullivan to get going tonight?
Yeah, it's big, and that's kind of the thing when you look at the numbers on Mac. I mean, your left-handers are going to have to carry some of the weight here, and they're hitting, I guess, about 35 points higher than right-handers. But your batting average against Mac's been pretty good. You're going to put some balls in play, but Stallman's a guy. They dropped him in the order a little bit on Tuesday, and he hit some absolute rockets, but didn't get a lot to show for it. But the reality of it is at some point those things are going to fall. And that wind, working left to right kind of worked against State a little bit because you had a handful of balls that were hit to left center that stayed in the ballpark that ordinarily wouldn't. And so, Stallman's got to be a big part of things, and, they need him to be a left-handed power bat in the middle of that order. And Noah Sullivan should be back tonight. 1 game suspension, after the altercation last week. And so you won the game on Tuesday without Teal or Noah Sullivan in the order, and you should have both of them back this weekend.
Okay. Oh, so you're hearing Teal with the foot deal. I heard your deal with O'Connor, and he said that he took BP and then didn't feel good the next morning, so he didn't play against UAB. He's back tonight?
Well, he's available.
Okay.
And so we'll see how much they play him. They may give him a start and then see how he responds. And but it's not a broken bone; it's just kind of a bruise, and everybody responds to all that differently. But he's such a competitive kid. I mean, you almost have to protect guys from themselves when they're ultra competitive. But
sure.
He is available, and so we do expect to see him at some point this weekend and possibly tonight. And I think with the left-handers having better splits against Mac, it makes sense that he'd play tonight.
Okay. Steve Robertson, genespage.com on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Mississippi State host Tennessee this weekend, 3-game series. What did you think about Jacob Billingsley outing Tuesday against UAB?
It's Chris Billingsley, but yeah,
Chris.
I think it's one of those things like when you look and see what has happened with Chris Billingsley and and Jack Bauer is it shows that Brian O'Connor and Justin Parker have a plan. It's not just about today's game, and Oak has talked about that. You got to see what your team is going to look like in 2 weeks and 4 weeks and 6 weeks. You're already getting those guys ready to pitch meaningful innings in the Southeastern Conference and certainly in postseason. And you may need a 4-starter in the NCAA tournament. And, Billingsley, again, just week after week continues to get a little bit better and a little more confident. He was a late addition to this class, and he was a guy that was a post-draft signee because he expected to sign. He really did. He felt like that, hey, we're going to get some calls from schools and from teams, and he did in the pre-draft type conversation and due diligence, and then was available late, didn't get what he wanted, And I think now you're starting to see what Justin Parker saw in him. And the fact that he is developing at a pretty rapid rate, I think, says a lot about the staff.
All right. What as you look at the bullpen and what they've done the last 2 months. So we're 2 months in. All right, so give me a grade, Steve. I mean, there's been ups and downs, but there has been some good performances. You give me a grade on where the bullpen is 60 days in.
Well, I would say a month ago I'd have probably told you a C minus. I think now you're probably a C plus, maybe a B minus. Brendan Sweeney has been up and down a little bit, but you're seeing Peyton Fowler come on a little bit. You're seeing Jack Bauer, kind of be reborn in front of you. Parker Rhodes is the guy that's got some good stuff, and so you just want to find a sense of consistency back there. And I think Mississippi State fans probably felt a month ago. It's like, hey, we've got good starting pitching, but we don't have a sure enough closer. I think Ben Davis is emerging as that guy, but again, he's a guy you never know what you're going to get. One outing is lights out, and the next one, he walks a couple of guys and kind of manufactures some of his own misery. But I think they're improving, but it's still a work in progress.
All right. Steve Robertson, genespage.com on the Out of Bounds show. What else are we doing? What else are we hitting here? Who's someone that you're looking at right now, pitcher or possibly in and out of the batting lineup, that you're like, if that guy gets cooking, watch out?
Well, I think you got to go with Jacob Parker, right? I mean, he hit cleanup on Tuesday, and it seems like he's starting to hit a home run every game. And I think maybe the maturation process with him, where he has gone from being a guy that Brian O'Connor didn't really know to being the everyday right fielder regardless of pitching matchups, I think says a lot about both Parker and O'Connor. I think we discussed before, I mean, he came here with James Nunnally, kind of penciled in as the right fielder. And then all of a sudden, Vitas Valenkas gets hot, and they kind of move him to one of the corner outfield spots. But now all of a sudden, Jacob Parker is now an everyday player. And when you think about what he does and the more often that he can see Southeastern Conference pitching, he is going to be the face of this program for a couple of years. And right now you're getting to see him settle in and be an everyday starter in one of the lineups that's one of the most potent in all of college baseball. And so he's the guy that I think can ultimately carry you a little bit. And I don't want to put too much pressure on a young man's shoulders, but they hit him down in the bottom half of the order. And the next thing you know, they have to make some changes with some guys out, and they move him up, and he responds and does a great job for you.
Let's switch gears to football. Maybe a little bit scary switching gears here, but Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. All right. Is there any buzz in spring football about a player or a unit that is getting people excited or fired up?
Yeah, well, it depends on who you talk to on what day, right? I mean, so, defensively, that's been a lot of the chatter, is how much better things have gone under Zach Arnett. And it's weird that we're even having that conversation, right, based on 23. But it's so interesting just talking with the players, especially on the offensive side, and to kind of see their eyes widen a little bit. They're getting really challenged in practice by this defense, and that really hadn't been the case the last couple of years, And I love the fact, too, that, the very first scrimmage, Arnett goes out there and just basically throws the kitchen sink at the offense, right? It's not his job to slow things down, right? And the guys love playing in this, and like they're talking about it's more of an attack type defense than rather than read and react. Like, we're not going to let them set the tone for us. And that's what we knew from Arnett when he was here the first time. But had a chance to speak to him just kind of off the cuff one day, and just told him, hey, welcome home. And he goes, man, I'm so glad to be back. He said, we got so much work to do, but I'm so glad to be back. And I think that sentiment is kind of getting echoed by the players, that they're buying into what he's doing. Now, we still got to go out and get another edge. And I think Amari Williams missing a little time kind of illustrated that point. And they love Amari. And you can tell Amari Williams is going to be a big focal point. He's a guy that was with Arnett last year at Florida State. So Zach knows what he's capable of, and he's probably going to be your starting edge and probably be a name that everybody in the state of Mississippi knows come midseason. But you need some depth behind him, and they're bringing an official visitor in this weekend. We think that's going to work out. We'll see how things go. But, these kids at this point don't have a lot of leverage, right? I mean, they can't just hold you hostage and say, I got to have, a king's ransom to come play football for your program, because they're scrambling trying to find something. But, we'll see how things kind of play out. But I would say that's probably the one thing. But probably the thing that's most encouraging to me is just hearing how well the corners room is kind of settling in. It's Kelly Jones and then kind of everybody else, but he's got some guys out there now that I think can handle their end of the field. And that's a selling point, right? If you think, okay, we got a first rounder playing corner, if you come in here and work hard, you're going to be the guy that's going to stack stats, because they're going to avoid Kelly Jones. And just hearing about Jamrock and even Jet Jefferson, a guy that didn't get to play a lot last year due to injury, that corners room looks completely different. And based on the reports we're getting, they're playing exceptionally well.
All right, Zach Arnett, defense. Isn't that crazy? Zach Arnett's the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State. Again, it's just wild. Steve Robertson, genespage.com. As far as Camario Taylor, true sophomore, I thought he should have played more last year at times. He didn't. Lot on a true sophomore. See if he could, make this thing happen. Where does he need to take the biggest jump? Is it we've talked about how he throws a good deep ball. Is it the short and intermediate passing game, Steve?
Well, I think it's a combination of everything, because let's be honest about this. When Camario was in Oxford County, he kind of got bound on being an athlete with a big arm, right?
Yeah.
And so just kind of learning the nuances of it. And, Levy knows how to coach quarterbacks. And so I think it's a great thing for his development. And you bring in, Coach Johns. And listen, Camario's got great people around him. But it's just the accuracy piece, right? I mean, he had some misses last year that he wanted back, but he was a true freshman,
Sure.
And so now he's getting first-team reps. He is the undisputed starter. Everybody knows that. Every one of those guys that transferred into the transfer portal all understood they're competing for the backup spot. But, yeah, I mean, just a little better on the accuracy and ball placement, and that's just going to be the case for every young quarterback, right? I mean, so he has an undefinable skill to make people around him better. People want to play hard for him because he plays so hard. In that respect, you see a little bit of Dak Prescott in him in that. I'm not saying he's going to go to the National Football League and coach or be the Cowboys starting quarterback for a decade, but really I think there is a magnetism around him that kind of maybe influences people to play above their heads a little bit. And that's a great quality to have. But, you just got to make sure that the accuracy and ball placement are there. And, when there are big plays to be made in the throw game, as Jeff Levy likes to say, you want to be able to throw an accurate pass and connect there.
genespage.com. Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds show. He'll be at Duty Noble today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Steve, we appreciate it. We'll talk next week.
Take care.
All right. Steve Robertson with a little bit of an update there on some baseball, and I threw in a little football. Why not? We'll get crazy with Camario Taylor and Zach Arnett. Can they save Jeff Levy's job? We'll see. Will they be better on defense? Absolutely. You can't help but be better. How much better can Arnett make them on defense is the question. And what can Levy and Camario do over starting really in January all the way until Labor Day? What can they do as far as getting his game where it needs to be as polished as you can as a true sophomore? Yeah. He's obviously a monster. He's big. He can run around, make you miss. Can he develop that touch, at least to a certain extent, in year two? In that short and intermediate passing game, really, know the offense like the back of his hand and go from there. So, Jackson Meadows, you fired up about?
Well, it's Masters Week.
All right, let's go back into the Masters. All right, so I've got it right here. Here we go. Let's see what's going on here. Scheffler's out there. Jordan Spieth. Brooks Koepka. All right, so Spieth and Koepka are 1 under.
Okay.
Rosie, as Wilkes said, is 1 under. Justin Rose. Justin Thomas is 1 under. Now, the leaders, Sam Burns and Rory McIlroy, they haven't started today.
Right.
Okay. But they're both 5 under.
5 down. Nice.
Yeah. And then you've got Kitayama at 3 under. Jason Day, who people like him.
Yeah.
They're rooting for him.
They do.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
Patrick Reed, people like to not. You need both. You need in any sport, anything. A lot of it's made up anyway because as sports fans, we're totally loco. But Jason Day and some of these other guys, JT, they're crowd favorites. Patrick Reed is kind of a villain, and so he's 3 under. He's already won a Masters.
Yes,
and he's from Augusta, and I think went to Augusta College.
He did.
Okay. Wyndham Clark. Wyndham seems to play some really good golf. He's 2 under today. 2 under total.
Right.
At 2 under. Okay. Scheffler's sitting there at 2 under. Shane Lowry. Wilkes isn't a big fan. Xander Schauffele, 2 under. So, I mean, the top, there's 20 players up there that you know, even if you're just, I don't follow golf, but I follow it this week and weekend because of the Masters and the greatest tournament and course on earth. And yes, I know the European courses and East and West Coast, and those are great too. So it's going to be an unbelievable weekend. If you missed anything that we did, we're on Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. We're also on YouTube. We're actually on YouTube right now live. You can go to the YouTube channel, Out of Bounds Sports. Hit the subscribe button. We want you to hang out with us. Jackson cut up 4 different videos of Tom Luganbill doing a deep dive on college football in the portal yesterday, and they are delicious. So the YouTube channel is Out of Bounds Sports. We hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy Ole Miss, LSU, Mississippi State, Tennessee, the Masters, and whatever else you're doing. For Straight Funk, I'm your host, Bo Bounds. Don't forget that Mudbugs open at the Reservoir downtown Brandon. Enjoy yourself. Be careful. We'll see you Monday at 7 a.m.